A 20-ton iron door with walls reinforced with steel was deemed so secure by its makers that they didn't even install a security alarm in the bank vault, believing it to be unbreakable. This illusion was shattered when thieves devised a master plan and managed to evade security for a full 27 hours while hiding inside the vault.
Viewers, what was this master plan and why is this considered the heaviest bank robbery in history? Before we discuss this, let's go back to the day of July 19th, 1976. The Monday sun had risen, and in the city of Nice, France, staff members of the Société Générale Bank had begun to arrive. This bank was known for having the world's most robust and secure vault. What happened was that, as per routine, the bank staff went to open the vault. It was an extremely heavy door with a highly complicated lock. They entered the lock combination, but the door did not open. Now, let me tell you that this door had caused problems before because its weight was 20 tons, which often made it jam. The bank staff thought it was jammed again as usual, so they contacted the company that had made the vault. Within half an hour, the company's experts arrived at the bank and started trying to open the door. However, the concerning part was that even the experts couldn't open the door this time. They made several attempts, but the door refused to open. The situation was becoming serious as a line of customers had formed, and now it was a matter of the bank's reputation. After 3 hours, they decided to drill a hole in the wall of the vault to see what was causing the door to jam. There were no signs of forced entry on the door, nor were there any marks on the walls. When they drilled a hole using a heavy-duty machine, they saw that someone had welded the door shut from the inside. This scene was hard to believe because there was only one way into the vault. There were no vents or windows, making it impossible for anyone to get inside. Realizing something was seriously wrong, they decided to bring in machinery to break through the wall and enter the vault. This process was time-consuming as the walls were much thicker than normal walls and reinforced with steel. However, after several hours, they managed to make a hole big enough for a person to enter. Upon entering, the scene inside was unbearable. The vault had been looted, with some lockers broken and others open. The most striking thing was the famous words spray-painted on the vault wall. "Without arms, without hate, without violence." Once the bank staff regained their composure, they discovered a tunnel dug into the ground of the bank. At this point, the police had arrived and took over the investigation. The thieves had already escaped with the money, all the gold and valuable items from 400 out of 4,000 safe deposit boxes. The tunnel the thieves had dug led to the city's largest underground sewage line, where the police found numerous clues, including tools and 27 gas cylinders used to fuel welding torches. Additionally, they found ventilation equipment for fresh air and a 1-kilometer-long electrical wire in the sewage line. This robbery amounted to $20 million, which is equivalent to $110 million today. Not only was this the largest bank heist of the century, but the investigation also became the largest in the history of French police. By now, the news had spread worldwide, severely damaging the bank's reputation and marking a moment of great embarrassment for the French police. For months, the police put in their utmost effort, interrogating nearby residents and even the bank staff, but they found no trace of the thieves. Then, 3 months later, in October 1976, the police got a big break. One of the gang members was caught following a tip from his own girlfriend. Initially, he denied everything, but under police torture, he couldn't withstand the pressure and revealed the names of the entire gang. To the police's surprise. This gang was known for petty thefts, and it was hard to believe they had pulled off such a major bank heist. The real mastermind behind the plan was someone else. During interrogation, the gang mentioned a person they claimed was the mastermind of the robbery, Albert Spaghiari. Albert was a photographer, and when the police arrested him, he didn't appear to be a criminal at all. He had simple dressing, a modest lifestyle, and lived in an ordinary house. When questioned, his neighbors all described him as a straightforward photographer who always minded his own business. But what the police discovered about Albert was completely the opposite of his appearance. He immediately confessed in front of the police that he was indeed the mastermind behind the bank heist. For the police, this almost closed the case, but this was just the beginning. According to Albert, he first rented a locker in the bank and used the opportunity to take photos of everything inside the vault. He placed an alarm clock in his locker and set it to go off at night. When the alarm went off without triggering any security alert, he confirmed that there was no security system in place in the vault. He then visited the city government office disguised as an engineer and obtained a map of the city. From the map, he determined the distance between the nearest sewage line and the bank. After his calculations, he realized that by digging a 26-foot tunnel from the closest sewage line, they could reach the bank vault directly. This task required a lot of effort, so Albert contacted a city gangster, explained the entire plan, and enlisted his help. The gangster assigned his men to the task. It took 2 months to dig the tunnel, as it had to be done without any machinery and only at night when the bank was empty. Albert took great care to ensure that no noise reached the surface. Finally, on the night of Saturday, July 18th, and into Sunday, they broke into the vault. For the next 27 hours, they looted the vault in complete peace, during which they even had lunch and dinner there. Before leaving, they wrote those famous words on the wall. The police presented Albert in court, where he also confessed his crime to the judge. During interrogation, he had written evidence of his plan and details of the stolen money and code on a piece of paper. He claimed he would only give this evidence to the judge, who would be the only one able to decipher it. The judge called Albert into his chamber for this purpose. Albert handed over the paper, which had a map of the city on it. While the judge was trying to understand the map, Albert suddenly jumped out of the window of the first-floor room, landing on a car roof below. He quickly got into a bike that was waiting for him and escaped. Despite the police's best efforts, as they were never able to catch him. Several years later, an interview with him was broadcast on TV in which he mentioned that he had been fascinated by treasure since the age of 12 and had fulfilled this fascination with the heist. It seemed as though he was taunting the French police through this interview. After that, Albert disappeared and his whereabouts remain a mystery to this day. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please subscribe to our channel.